Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Live Your Best Life Doing What You Love. I'm Dr. Melissa J. Williams, and today I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have Miss Emily Hayes in the studio. All right, I'm so excited. We met probably maybe 2 to 3 years ago, at least 2.5 years ago, I'm going to say. And what I always tell all of you is that you need to get a mentor. And she and we were in, I guess, a course or training together. And I continue to follow her. And now she's doing some amazing things. So I won't spoil it because a lot of this is going to be new for me as well. But without further ado, guys, I want you guys to meet Miss Emily Hayes. I'm so extremely excited to be in the room with her. So, hello.
Yes, yes. What's up? Oh man, I'm excited to be here too. It is a honor and a privilege to be in this space with you for sure. For sure.
Thank Thank you. So, what we're going to do, as always, this channel is about living your best life doing what you love, guys. You guys know I say it all the time. I don't do anything that I don't love. And I also believe that you have one life and you should live it to its fullest. And so, what I do is I showcase individuals that are living in their divine purpose. I always like to say that my daughter told me this. She says, you know what? There's no competition if you're following your divine mission. And so, without again further ado, I want to talk to Miss Emily, find out what she's been doing, because I think that we're more alike than we are disalike, right? So, we have so many things that's in common. And so, as we have this candid discussion and we find out what Emily is doing, I want you guys to understand that if there's anything in your life that you don't like, you can change it. All right? You can change it. It's
That part.
everything. Tell me everything. It's been 2.5 years. So what have you been doing? Tell me, tell me, tell me.
First, let's just pause for 1 minute
All
on
right.
that last statement that you made. If you don't like anything in your life, you can change it.
You can change it.
That is
Yeah.
a truth that I think we're either unaware of or we're afraid of because we don't know what's on the other side when we try to change. But as we all know, change is constant. And if you don't change, you get left behind or you stay stuck. So I just wanted the people to sit with that for just a minute because that was heavy. That was heavy. And going into this conversation, it might be a little heavy for some people, my experience. Like you said, it's been easily 2.5 years. And we were on the same group coaching platform. And I was in a marriage that was completely unhealthy. I mean, I was doing my best to project what I wanted people to see and what I wanted to make it feel like it was great, it was happy, and behind closed doors, it was horrible. It was horrible. So, um, when we were in that program together, it was a battle of trying to be led by someone who wasn't prepared to lead. You know, you have people who want to be in certain positions, and we all do. We all wanna be in certain positions, but if we're not prepared, if we haven't worked on ourselves, then we won't be able to fulfill the duties of that position. And so it's not just about him, but it's about everyone. And so I've been through a journey and I'm still on this journey as we all are, hopefully. And it's just been a growth, a developmental process. It's been a scary road. There's always going to be scary things when you want to become the best version of yourself, or when you at least want to be better than what you used to be, or you
Yes.
want to be in a better space than where you used to be. And I was in a marriage for 3 years. I'm not fully divorced yet, but it has like the work is in there. The paperwork is in there, just waiting to hear back from the judge and how she's going to rule and everything. But I was in a controlling, abusive marriage for 3 years. And when I say controlling, I'm talking about throwing clothes away just because you don't like them. Not like they're revealing jeans that you don't like, just shoes, tennis shoes, you know? And the abuse was, if you can think of it, it was like all sorts of abuse, you know, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial. It was just anything that had to do with me. And the crazy thing was when we met, he was attracted to me for me. And I'm a colorful, vibrant person. I feed off of people's energy. I like to be in the space with people because I like to feel your energy and I like to give mine. But that's not what I think his vision was for his life and what he wanted for us. And so it's just day after day after day, slowly losing pieces of myself, trying to, as my counselor would say, you can only go along to get along for so long. And that's what I was just trying to do because it's either go along to try to get along or be faced with something that was not healthy. And so it just came to a head finally. It's not, and let me be clear, I came from a two-parent household because people will be like, well, how do you find yourself in that situation? You know, people, when I give pieces of my story, because now I'm more transparent and people are asking, I'm just laying it out there. And when they ask and I tell them, one of the first questions is, oh, you must not have had a dad in your life. My dad is fully present and always has been fully present. But what I learned on this journey is I was making decisions based off my insecurities.
Mm,
And people would be like, "Oh, but you look a certain way or you've got this or you've got that. Why were you insecure?" And insecurities came from just comparison from the
mm,
world and the pressure to want to fit into what you think other people want from you and of you. And so I learned last year. I left the marriage on Christmas Eve, 2022. After an incident, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Because at some point it's going to come to whether I'm fighting for my life or not.
mhm,
And so I left and I hid. I was at my dad's house. I'm still here because I'm still putting the pieces, I'm rearranging the pieces now. And one thing like I want to share with the audience is sometimes our brokenness, if we just take those pieces and work with them, they can become our breakthrough.
I love that.
And that's where I am. That's how I've gotten to where I am now and where I'm going is because of the brokenness. I don't want to say that I can be broken. I have broken pieces, but I'm not broken, you
Broken.
know? I'm
Mhm,
still here. It's just, am I going to heal and navigate? So I leave on Christmas Eve, and then all of 2023, I'm like recluse. I'm hidden. Family members I never there are family members that I didn't tell that I had left. There were friends that I didn't even talk to. And then if they did reach out, it was very vague answers and responses because they didn't know I had left. And so I was here for a year, just really diving into my relationship with God, really getting to know God. And it was through that. I mean, you know, you read the Bible. I grew up in a Christian home. I grew up going to a Christian school. I went to church all the time. So I tell people God was all around me,
mhm,
but not in me
right,
like I needed him to be.
mhm,
It wasn't because he was absent, it was because I wasn't seeking. And I would hear this kind of stuff in church, you know, seek him and he'll reveal himself to you. But we're such a lazy people that we want all the work to be done and then presented to us and we accept or reject it.
right, right.
And that's in a lot of areas of life, not just spiritual or religion or I don't know everybody's background, but we have this laziness that we have to overcome, you know? And so as I got closer with God, I was working on my second book last year. And the book, crazy enough, is called Commit to Change. But at
I
the end
love
of the
it.
year, I didn't finish it because I felt like it wasn't the season.
Mm,
Wasn't the season for the book. I think that it was a part of my healing process, but it wasn't the season for me to complete and release it. And so I just kept diving into God, and then roll around January, February of this year, I was like, it's confidence. It was the revelation that I had. All of the poor decisions that I made in life, all of the big mistakes, and even the little ones that I made in life, I realized they came because I was allowing my insecurities or my shame or my fear or my guilt or my regrets make my decisions for me.
mm,
So if we think about being in the marriage that I was in, an abusive marriage, you want to wonder why someone would stay there. And I stayed not because I thought that was what I deserved, because I knew I deserved better. I had enough sense to know I deserved better. But I stayed because it was my second marriage. And I felt like I didn't do enough to try to salvage the first. Like I just left and I didn't try to make it work. And because I lived with that, I stayed somewhere that I never was meant to be because I was fighting with a decision that I had made years ago
mm,
that I had regrets for. And then I was ashamed of. And it's like, well, it can work. It can work. Maybe it can work. But sometimes we
mm,
try to force things to work that were never meant to work for us. And I like to share that my belief is that we get ourselves a lot of times in situations. And if you're somebody who believes in God and you're somebody who goes to church and you hear church a lot, you'll hear, God never puts more on you than you can bear. This is a season God allows these things to happen to you. And I believe that's true in some cases. But in other cases, I believe that we end up in places that God never meant for us.
mm,
Because the Bible said God has plans for us to prosper, right? There's a lot for us. There's abundance for us. There's prosperity for us. There's all of this stuff for us if we would just stay in our lane and stop looking at everybody else's lane and comparing ourselves to other people and trying to do what they're doing. If we would stay in our lane, then we would get to that place a lot faster. But what happens is we'll make a decision based off of something that we experienced in the past that we haven't healed from. I'm just only speaking from
mhm.
my experience that I haven't healed from. And so when I make that decision, I get in a place that God never intended for me. And then you get there and you're like, God, help me get out of here. God's like, I didn't put you in this. This isn't something you're supposed to be fighting, but
Mhm.
you can call on God for help, but you gotta work,
Gotta work.
right? If you want if you want to live the life that you deserve, whether you believe you deserve it or not, you have to be
Mhm,
willing to work and you have to be willing to try. Like we have these dreams, but if we're not willing to work, then they're just gonna stay dreams. So all of last year, God led me, I think, up to the confidence thing. And so that's how I started the clothing brand, the confidence brand. And I changed the I in confidence to one. And I changed it to one
I
because it has
saw
a
that.
dual
I saw that.
representation.
Saw that. So now you tell the story. Yeah, okay, go ahead,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. The dual representation of the one is this. I believe, I don't know if you've ever heard someone say, oh, they don't have confidence, or they'll claim that I don't have confidence. I believe we all always have confidence. It's just whether or not our confidence is up here or is way down here.
Okay.
And so through my revelation, through my journey, through everything I've been through and I'm still going through, my belief is that number one, our true confidence comes in God.
Mm,
Like if you know God, you know of God, you know God had good plans for you, and you believe everything that God has to say about you, then there's really no reason we should lack confidence. We shouldn't be running on E on confidence because we should believe that all things are possible when we believe that we're following God's path and plan and purpose. And so our true confidence comes in our identity in God. That's my first representation of the one. And the second one is that there's only one person on this planet who's responsible for my level of confidence. That's going to be me.
mhm.
There's only one person on this planet that's responsible for your level of confidence, and that's gonna be you. And I mentioned us being a lazy people. We let ourselves off the hook a lot of times because we wanna give the responsibility of our confidence over to someone else. So we'll get dressed. Let's look at it on a surface level, right, Doc? We'll get dressed at home and we're questioning, we're turning in the mirror, ladies, turning in the mirror, looking to see where the wrinkles, where the folds are, where the creases are. Is it cupped? Is it sagging? All these things. And we pick out something that we're like, okay, this is good enough to step out today. But we're not up here with the confidence of it. We're just good enough to step out today. And we have this secret that we're walking around hoping that someone gives us a compliment.
Mm,
And when we hear that compliment, we like, okay, snap, okay, I did it a little bit. And the more we hear those compliments, the more confidence we have in the decision that we made before we even stepped out into the world.
mm,
But I want us, my hope through this brand is for us to have that high level of confidence so that when I step out into the world, my whole Sunday is complete. You just extra sprinkles on top. Whatever you gotta say to me, those are just extra sprinkles. I got the banana split, I got the vanilla, the chocolate, the strawberry, the cherry, my own sprinkles. And if you
right,
wanna add something, I got the whipped cream. I'm good, whipped up.
right,
But if you wanna throw some sprinkles my way, yeah, take them. And if you
right.
don't, that's fine with me. That's what I want us to do as a people, because my belief is that when we operate from a high level of confidence and believe in ourselves, we make better decisions.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
just looking over my life, relationships, just back to this past marriage, I would have never been in the marriage if my level of confidence didn't depend on someone else's validation or approval or
mm,
security. I would have never entered into that space. And God didn't have that for me. And then I was there for 3 years fighting, thinking that this is where God, this is not necessarily what God wants for me, but I also don't think God wants me to be a quitter. So then I'm putting this pressure on God that God never wanted me to have or put on him because that's like God, like, I didn't put you there though.
right.
So I just want us to number one, love ourselves, to have grace with ourselves, to appreciate ourselves, but we can't grow and we can't, like you said, have the mindset of only doing what we love and nothing else if we don't heal from what we've been through.
Mm,
Now, we can't heal the other people. So if someone has done something to us, I can't heal that person. You can't heal that person, but we can heal from what we've received from
mm,
other people and from ourselves.
mm,
And when we're able to do that, we're able to start growing. We're able to start seeing our value. We're able to start seeing that we are worthy of this. Jim Rohn said in one of his talks, he said, something along the lines of, if you want to be successful, you got to do what successful people do, right? If you want to become a millionaire, you got to do what millionaires do. If you don't know what that is, you pretend.
mm,
Like at a young age, we lose our imagine. I have three babies, like 5, 3, 4, 3, 3.
mm,
And their imagination is so vivid that they get angry. Let me tell you how vivid their imagination is. I can have a pair of pajamas. This happened a couple of weeks ago. A pair of pajamas with Paw Patrol on there. The boy's favorite color is red or blue. One girl is purple, one girl is pink. So one girl went over to his pajamas and pretended to pick the blue off and eat it. I got your blue. I got your blue. No, don't take my blue. He got so mad that he shoved her because in their mind, this is really happening.
mm, mhm,
And
mhm,
we lose that creativity, that passion for just imagining the possibilities of what we're capable of doing. And we talk ourselves out of even getting started because we're holding on to whatever we did in the past.
mhm,
and we don't see better for ourselves. And so I just want us to be confident. I have this thing called the ABCs of confidence, how to elevate your confidence. One, we got to accept ourselves.
mm,
There are things about us that we cannot change outside of surgery or some craziness, right? If there were no plastic surgeons in the world, there are certain things about us that we cannot change. I got a crooked left toe. You can't change it unless I go have surgery. But that's still not me changing it. That's someone else changing it. So when I say accept ourselves, I'm saying accepting those things about us that we cannot change. Sometimes we accept ourselves and we accept the things that we could change, but we don't change.
mm,
And when we do that, we give ourselves an excuse not to be great.
mm,
So to build up our confidence, we lack confidence because we're comparing ourselves to other people, because we're looking at us and we're looking at them. So to build up confidence, for me, it was standing in the mirror, sometimes naked, sometimes not, looking at the areas of me that I didn't like, that I wish I could change, and saying, this is what it is. Girl, I love you. You are beautiful. Let's go. And you have to condition your brain. We've been conditioned up until however old we are to believe what we believe. So it can only take so long for us to actually strip those beliefs and put new ones in. But we have to be
right,
disciplined enough to do that every day.
mm,
So accept everything about you that you cannot change. And the things you can change, start working on those to change them. That's the A. The B of elevating our confidence is to believe that anything is possible because anything is possible.
yeah,
And you can say anything is possible. But if you don't believe it,
right,
your actions are going to align with your beliefs. Right. So that's how we walk out in the world and we say, I look good today. I'm confident. I'm confident. I'm confident. And you're really not. So your shoulders are slunk over. You step into a room and you try to get into the back corner because we don't believe that yet.
mm,
And how do you begin to believe something? It's the work, it's the muscle. You have to work it. You have to hold on to the fact that it could very well be true because anything is possible. If we can fly rockets to the moon, whatever it is that God put in us to do can be done.
done. Yes,
We have to believe that on our own, though, because nobody can believe it for you. Like my dad believed I could do great things with sports. But if I didn't believe it for myself, which I didn't, I had low confidence, I didn't go as far as I could have. So accepting everything about us that we cannot change and taking action to change the things we can, believing that anything is possible when it's in line with our purpose that God has planned for us. And then the C is to create an environment for A and B to thrive.
mm,
So it's like, I like to say it like this. If you're a farmer, we got Washington apples, we got Florida oranges, we got Mexico avocados, we got African rice. If I live in Wisconsin and I bring an orange plant up there, how do I create an environment for that thing to thrive in Wisconsin? For us, we try to take someone else's fruit, someone else's purpose, someone else's passion, because we don't know what ours is yet. Then
right,
when we can't fully do it as good as we think they can, we quit and we don't try any.
yeah,
But creating an environment for accepting yourself and believing anything is possible to grow and thrive requires it requires certain sacrifices. Like for me, when I was in the house all of last year, I was off of social media for an entire year. That took away distractions of me comparing myself to other people. That took away distractions of me from spending time on social media when I woke up versus spending time with God. If I want an orange plant to grow, then I need to have the right soil. I need to have the right climate. I need to have the right amount of water. I need to have the right amount of sunshine and the right amount of shade. If I want to accept everything about myself, then I need to put up a blocker of all of those things that I would be comparing myself to. I
Mhm,
need to distance myself from people who aren't supporting what I'm trying to accept about me.
mhm.
Because we have friends and family that'll say, "Girl, you getting too skinny." And if that's a trigger for me, me being around you isn't helping me accept what I'm healing with. Like, you don't know my healing journey. I don't know your healing journey. But if I'm throwing stones while you trying to build this house,
Right,
so we have to put up certain walls, not to keep everything out, but to keep out the things that won't help this environment, that won't help me be able to brainwash myself into believing the value that I was born with.
right.
And so it's to me, it's not an easy journey, but it's a simple ABC. Accept who you are, who God created you to be, what God created you to do, and go do it and go be it. Believe that you can do it and go be it, and make sure that you're flooding your mind, you're flooding your ears, you're flooding your thoughts with things that are going to help those beliefs grow, help you be the best version of you,
Mm,
which could be cutting off certain music just because it's got a good beat. We quick to go to it, but those words may not be the
right.
environment that we need. They even do it with plant studies anyways. They'll have certain musics and certain plants grow better with certain stimulating music, whereas non-stimulating or negatively stimulating music, plants don't grow as well. Everything is energy. And if
What
we
would you tell somebody? I because what would you tell somebody that is struggling to figure out who they are? Because that's the A, like, accept
right.
who you are, but I
Mhm.
don't know who I am, how do you find out who you are and what your divine purpose is? Because a lot of people don't know.
For me, it is all God. But if we want to take it, I'm working on this theory and I call it the drip theory. Because a lot of times we try to change so much at one time that we get overwhelmed and we just completely stop. But it doesn't matter how big the bucket is. It could be a cup, it could be 5 gallons, it could be 20 gallons. But if I have a faucet turned on with a steady drip, nonstop, every single day, eventually that bucket will fill up, right? So for me, it was diving into God, but then also starting with something small. Sometimes starting with the superficial enables you to get into the depth of you. Because how do I know how to dive into myself when I'm distracted by what I look like?
Mm,
How can I believe that I really can be this great singer or this great performer or this great actress or build these mansions or become a millionaire or whatever your dream is? When you wake up in the mirror and you see something about yourself that you don't like and you're disgusted at it,
mm,
something that you were born with, something that you can't change, something that you never know might help you help someone else later.
mm,
So for those people who don't know what their purpose is, who don't know how to find your God-given gift, one thing I heard a lot was if it comes easy to you and harder to others, you might want to start there. But in order to accept yourself, I think that a lot of times we got to start on the surface level before we can really do the inner work. Because I can dive into the inner work and really try it, but I wake up and like we're visual creatures naturally. Ugh, I don't like my hair. I don't like my eyebrows. Oh, I wish my eyes were a different color. Baby, you can't change it. And If you pick one thing about you that you don't like, let's say you don't like your hair because it always breaks off. It's always been short because you grew up getting perms and all you knew was that. And now you're trying to go natural and it's a whole, all what, everything that comes along with our hair.
Right.
What if you wake up and you say, you know what? Hair, I love you. I haven't done right by you. Forgive me, but I'm working on me and we're going to get healthy together. Because sometimes for a plant, all it takes is you just misting it, like just walk by and mist it, put it in the sun.
Mhm.
Walk by and mist it, put it in the sun. What if you just started misting yourself with praise until you really believed that you loved your hair, until you really believed that you loved your skin, that you loved your eyes, that you love the body that you have now? It may not look like what it used to, it may not look like what you want, but the thing that I lived off of last year and will live off for the rest of my life is it's a great day to be alive.
Yeah.
And
You
one
say
thing
that
that
all the time, and I
I
love it.
do,
I'm
I do.
like, yes, it is. It always makes me happy. Yes.
It's a great day to be alive because we get caught up in this, Doc. Listen to what we get caught up in. When we're trying to do this inner work and we're trying to find our divine purpose and we're trying to be positive and optimistic, we're putting on a front, we're lying to ourselves, we're lying to other people, and inside we're dying, we're sick, we're hurting because we're trying to convince ourselves of something that we can't see or feel right now. And I said, well, what can I do or say to myself every day that is always and forever will be true? And so in passing, we say, "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, I'm good. How you doing?" And it just flows and goes. But now when someone says, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "It's a great day to be alive." Because even if I'm not having a good day, even if it's a bad moment in that time, even if my emotion and my energy are low, that will never be a lie.
Right.
And to find out what you were created to do, to find out who you were created to be, and how magnificent you were created to live, you got to be honest with yourself.
Mhm.
Because hiding the truth is why we end up in a lot of situations because we're too afraid to have open communication with people who can help us heal. So with the drip theory I'm working on is what if we just do one thing the smallest thing. You say you want to lose weight. To whoever out there who wants to lose weight, you say you want to lose weight and you're like, oh, but I got 50 pounds to lose and I've tried it before and I tried it and it can't and I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't want to work out at home. I'd rather do this. What if you just started with 30 seconds a day of stretching? And you're like, well, 30 seconds isn't going to change anything. It's going to change your mindset. It's going to develop a disciplined habit. And then you're going to get to the point quicker than you realize, like, this isn't enough. I can do more than that. Let me turn this thing to a minute. Now I'm doing a minute of stretching a day. And although whatever you're doing that day and those weeks and those months may not look like what you see on Instagram and social media and in the gym, you're dripping that water into that bucket and you're doing it consistently in the right direction. And as long as you keep doing it, that bucket will fill up
I
and you
love it.
start building this confidence. Oh,
Mm.
snap. I did 5 minutes yesterday. I can do 5 minutes again today. Then
Yes.
5 minutes is going to come easy. I can do 7.5 minutes today. Then 7.5 minutes is going to come easy. And so I think in order for us to find out who we are, we have to get to know who we are not.
Mm. I like that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Because we've been living this life of who we're not because we're either trying to please our parents, we're trying to please our spouse, a significant other, or we're trying to be something that we think is going to attract these other people to us. And we know what we're doing doesn't just feel right. So get to know who you're not and say, that's not me.
Mhm.
You know the joke, right? What do you want, babe? What do you want to eat? I don't know. Let's go to Taco Bell. I don't want that. We always know what we don't want, right?
What?
As a woman, we know what we
Yeah.
don't want, but we don't know what we do want. So what if we got to know everything about who we are not and we stripped all of that away? Oh, this really isn't me. I'm doing this because I want to attract this type of person because I think that this is what that person likes, but I don't really like myself when I'm doing this. Okay, that's not me. Let me let that one go. And if we could just start shedding off the things about us that we eventually realize who we're not, then we're only going to be left with who God created us to be.
Yeah.
Then we accept her or him, and we believe that she or he can do anything. And then we continue to surround ourselves with the right people, with the right influences, with the right culture, with the right whatever information, media that comes in. And then that little seedling of that little tiny person that's always been there, but what got drowned out by all of the world, it starts to grow. But patience has to be in effect. Here comes the baby, baby.
No
She's supposed to
problem.
be in bed.
No problem. Oh my gosh, she's adorable.
Hey, thank you.
Oh, I
But
love it.
that's what it's about. It's about shedding all of the things that we hold on to stuff from when we were in elementary school and kids are cruel. And someone said you had an Audi, so you don't want to go out with a two-piece. Someone said your ears were big, so you always get a haircut like this. And it's like those jokers, we're holding on to stuff from people who were 6 years old,
Right, right,
and we have to be willing to let go. Because the Bible says if you got both hands full, you're chasing after the wind. I mean, you're not going anywhere. We got to release stuff in order to grab our blessings, in order to grab who God created us to be, in order to find that person. We have to let go of everything we realize we're not. I'm not who you want me to be, and I'm okay with that. If you're not okay with that, then I have to understand that's not my problem,
right.
and I got to let that go. So around the world, to answer that question, I think it's about releasing who we're not in order to discover who we really are. Because then you get to know who you are, what you like, what you love. Like you said, I'm not doing anything that I don't love. And if
No,
you got the confidence to make that statement and stand by it,
yeah,
but first you got to know, what do you love?
exactly,
What do you love
exactly.
about you? What should you love about you? So it's all growth, it's all grace, but it's the ability to release in order to gain. And isn't that how it is with life and anything? I had
Exactly.
to I have to release crawling in order to learn to walk. I'm comfortable crawling.
Yep.
I'm good at it,
Yeah.
but I got to let it go if I want to grow and progress.
Mm.
And so for anyone who's watching or listening, whatever it is that you're holding on to as that safety net, that security, or just the trauma, all of it, we have to work on letting it go every single day. And we can't think that just because we woke up one day with a positive energy, it was like, shoot, I am all that today. You got to fight to hold that belief every day. You got to look yourself in the mirror and say, you are all that. In order for that stuff to stick, it's got to keep cooking. So that's,
Talk to me before you go.
yeah.
I want to know a little bit more about the brand because I love it. I love it.
Okay. So for me right now, it's only like I've mainly got t-shirts, a couple of hats and things, right? But it's more than just for clothes because my goal is to do speaking engagements. And I've been thinking Like, I'm in a community now, and I've been trying to brainstorm. I put this on my shirt.
Mm,
I put this on your shirt. I put this on whoever buys this shirt so that to me it's a uniform. It's my superhero costume, right? Because if I can walk out with confidence on my chest, and I noticed this with myself too,
right, right, right.
it's almost I really can't step out if I'm having a shirt on or a tank top on and I got confidence across myself. I cannot walk around with my head held low. Like there's something connected to this. And I'm like, if I look down, I'm like, there's no way. I either got to take this shirt off, go back home and
Right,
take this shirt off. And
right,
so to me, it was like, this is our super suit. I don't
right.
want it to be just a shirt. I want it to be a super suit so that when you put it on, it's a reminder when you look down, when you're walking, when you remember, oh, I know what I got on today. I need to walk around with a little bit more pep in my step, a little bit head held high a little bit more. And that's what the brand is. The brand is to remind you that anything is possible. And the very first tagline that came to my heart when I created this brand was expose your greatness.
Mm, mm,
Because we expose a whole lot of things,
right, right.
but is it our greatness? And that's what I want people to think about and feel when they see you with it on. If you walking down the street, it's like, oh, I like that. Ah, you should, because it's
Mhm.
confidence.
Right, right.
And you can get and do anything. You can become anything if
Yes.
you're confident in you.
That is, yes.
And so that's why that's here because I needed it.
Mm,
I still need it. I still need that reminder, you know? But I want it to be a daily reminder. Like in my mind, confidence is a household brand. Like I want it on toothbrushes. I want it on bath mats. I want it on pillowcases. I want it on, like I want this to be your affirmation when you step out the shower in the morning. And you see it on your wall, and you see it on your shower curtains, and you see it. Like, how can you not be confident? How can you not step out into the world being who you were created to be when you live and sleep in confidence? And so my mindset is like, okay, I know it can be. I know it can be all that.
mhm.
I really believe that the world would be such a better place if we all operate from a high level of confidence because people kill people because of their own insecurities. People kill people because of what somebody else said. Oh, you gonna let them do that? You gonna let them get away with that?
Right.
But that's because you don't know you. And so the purpose of the brand is to get us to dive into who are we and be able to love that about us and step out and be that. And I think that that's confidence to me is world peace.
Oh, like,
So that's the brand right now. It's t-shirts, it's hats, it's socks, it's wristbands, a couple of shorts here and there, long sleeves, some hoodies. But I want it to grow beyond that. But in this community that I'm in, I'm like, but it's still to me, it was a little shallow. It's still so I wanted to push me to speaking, speaking to the youth,
mm,
especially in the younger years, because you got the peer pressures, you got the everything is so magnified and it's not as serious as they think it is, but some of them don't even get out of that life.
right.
And I'm like, if we can get the youth to be confident,
Mm,
then they're not taking on their parents' guilt and shame, their parents' trauma. They're not taking on their aunt and uncle's trauma. They're not taking on that teacher who doesn't want to be there. And all they can recognize that. That's something that I had to learn, baby. I'm gonna call. Hold on. That's something that I had to learn. It's like when my trigger was gonna be triggered, it was what you're doing right now is because you're doing something out of a place of your own insecurity. And when I can acknowledge that you're operating out of your insecurity, I can walk away.
Right.
I can refuse to accept that energy to disturb my peace. But you have to have a certain level of confidence in yourself to be able to acknowledge someone else's insecurities and not take it as your own personal threat.
Exactly. Mhm.
And so I mean, that's the brand, just being able to be true to ourselves and just freely accept us,
Mm.
accept you, and be okay. I got so many phrases, Doc. This is another one. I know that everybody is for somebody, but everybody ain't for everybody. And so when you have the people pleasers out there, we're trying to be for everybody. I want everybody to be happy when they cross paths with me, but I'm not for everybody. And I have to understand that this light and this energy is only going to serve the people who are here to receive it. And the people who aren't here to receive it are going to throw shade. They're going to throw hate. They're going to try to be ugly or hurt your feelings. And when you can see that about yourself, when you can learn that about, okay, I'm here. I want to be for everybody, but I ain't for everybody. The people who I am for, I'm going to know it by their actions. And the people who I ain't for, I'm also going to know it by their actions.
Right.
And then that's when I'm like, that's your problem, and I don't have to accept it. So that's the brand. That's the mission. That's the purpose. That's the all things confidence with a one.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, well, this has been truly, truly amazing. And like I said, I've been following you, and I was like, I wonder will she agree to do an interview with me? I was like, and she said yes, and I was so excited. Yeah, so excited. So, like I said, this has been amazing. Tell people how they can get in contact with you, how they can order from you. Are you on
Mhm.
Shopify? Where are you? Give us
Yeah,
that.
okay. Yeah, I have a website. Everything is confidence with the number one. So the
Okay.
website is confidence, CONF, the number one, DENCE.com. They can order everything that's on the website right now. And to follow me on social media, it's either the Confidence brand, so the
Mhm.
Confidence with the number one brand, or I am the Confidence brand. The I am the Confidence brand is on TikTok and Instagram. And
Okay.
those are mostly where I post my daily inspiration. And
Mhm.
then the Confidence brand, you get inspiration, you get behind the scenes of the life of trying to figure out this new journey of how to build a clothing brand and a business and be impactful while raising three toddlers and still feeling lost and still feeling found and all the craziness that comes along with it. You get that on those pages. So that's how you can find me. If you want to reach out to me via email, then it's www.confidence with the number one at yahoo.com. But that's it. That's me. That's
Okay.
me.
We're not done. We're not done. Closing words.
Hmm.
Talk to someone out there that if you had something to say to encourage someone that's listening, because it's always someone that's, what they'll say, you know what, I think this is meant for me. So if you could talk to someone, give them a word of encouragement, however you see that you can do that.
Okay. Here's what I want you to know. Everyone looks in the mirror and sees something about themselves that they don't like. And like you said at the beginning of this conversation, it's we're more alike than we are different. But because everybody's so afraid to be themselves because of what we think other people will think, we're trying to conform in some kind of way. So my encouragement for you is if it's hard for you right now to truly be you, at the thought of losing a connection with someone else. You're still connected because we all have that fear. And if you can understand that our gifts are different, but just as impactful when we operate in that space, then it's not going to matter what he says. It's not going to matter what she looks like. It's not going to matter how they do it. As long as you wake up knowing that they wake up every day with their own internal battles. Your battle doesn't look like my battle. His battle doesn't look like her battle. But trust and believe we're all in this fight for life. We're all in this fight to live. And I want you to choose to live and not just exist. You ain't on the front lines by yourself.
You
Your
ain't
lines, you're not alone. Your lines may be different from my lines, but we all on the lines. And just hold on. If you need something to hold on to that. Some people walk out there and they look like they got to put it all together. That's because they practice putting it all together. So now it's time for you to practice putting it all together. Not for the front, but really putting it together. And your broken pieces can be your breakthrough. That's what I
lying.
think.
Like, I love it. I love it. This has been amazing. Thank you so much. All right, guys. This is Dr. Melissa J. Williams. Live your best life doing what you love. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.